Good morning, Haley here, fitness instructor with 22 Wing PSP, and I'm going to take you guys through a little bit of a yoga flow that I did yesterday with my dog. So grab your mat and meet me in child's pose. Pushing your hips back towards your heels and extending your arms in front of you as long as you can. We're going to take the next few seconds as an opportunity to breathe deeply into our back. So inhale and exhale, nice and slow, and start to draw attention towards your breath. From child's pose, we're going to move into an all-fours position, ensuring your hands are directly underneath your shoulders and your knees are directly underneath your hips. We'll begin with cat-cow by hanging your head, separating your shoulder blades, and pulling your tailbone down towards the ground. You can reverse that movement by inhaling as you look up to the sky, bringing the shoulder blades together and lifting the tailbone high. We'll do this 5 to 10 times. Hanging the head, separating the shoulder blades, tailbone low, and reversing that movement. Continuing to breathe the whole time, and again, syncing your movement with your breathing. We're going to do a little bit of a shin lift here, so you can flex your feet and use your toes as the point of contact, and just lift your knees up off the ground 2 to 3 inches and hold here. We're going to head into spinal balance, so you're going to extend one leg behind you, balance the hips, engage the core, and extend the opposite arm. We're going to take it off center just a little bit, so just moving your foot off from the midline out to the side, and same thing with your arm. We're going to alternate the left and right sides, and you're going to perform about 5 to 6 repetitions a side, really emphasizing balancing the hips, engaging the abs, and extending that leg by driving through the heel. It's important to take that time to balance your hips because you don't want to be favoring that one side, otherwise you won't get that engagement in your abdominals. Keep your gaze focused on the mat below you. Exhale, sitting back into child's pose. From child's pose, we're going to move up into a high plank position and perform what's called crouching tiger push-ups. You're going to begin your push-up, and as your arm reaches about a 90-degree joint angle, you're going to extend your arms as you push your hips back towards your heels. Once your arms almost reach full extension, you're going to drop your knees behind you. From there, you're going to head into a downward dog with a combination of a spinal wave. I've really enjoyed incorporating this move. It's something fairly new for me that I've been doing, and it's an awesome combination of several moves that you've likely seen before. I performed close to 10 crouching tiger push-ups until I could really feel my triceps working. After the crouching tiger push-ups, we're going to get back into a downward dog, and we're going to add some heel presses. This is a great way to stretch out the calves and the hamstrings. And whenever we're in downward dog, we are making sure that our shoulder blades are back and down to keep that upper back active. From downward dog, we're heading into a kneeling mountain climber. So separate your shoulder blades and draw one foot up towards that same arm and look up to the sky. Bring that leg back and step forward with the other foot, alternating the left and right, keeping that back knee planted on the ground. Great way to stretch out the hips as well. I repeat this about 3 to 5 times per side. And heading back into child's pose. Pushing your hips up to the ceiling, back into downward dog, and extending one leg up to the sky for three-legged dog as we head into runner's plank by drawing that knee up towards the center, extending back into three-legged dog, coming back up, drawing that knee towards the opposite elbow, pushing back into downward dog, and then finally drawing that knee up towards the center again and touching that knee towards the same elbow. Pushing back into downward dog, connecting that foot with the ground, and we're going to repeat that same thing on the other side, extending the opposite leg into three-legged dog, inhaling as we shift our body weight forward into a high plank, drawing that knee through the center, exhaling as we bring it back to three-legged dog, inhaling, coming forward, drawing that knee towards the opposite elbow, again, exhaling back into a three-legged dog, inhaling, coming forward, and drawing that knee towards that same elbow. Three-legged dog one more time. Connect that foot to the ground. Inhale, come forward to a high plank, and resume that all fours position. From all fours, we're going to repeat our shin lift by lifting up our knees just a couple inches from the ground. You can go from your toes, or if you have the flexibility in your ankles, you can go from the tops of your feet and get a nice stretch. Lowering back down, extending the arms in front of you, exhaling, sitting back into child's pose. Inhaling, coming forward, back to all fours, and whatever side you are comfortable, you're going to swing your legs to that side and you're going to push back into a seated position. Extending legs in front of you with your knees flexed. We're going to head into reverse tabletop swings. So bending the knees, lifting the hips, coming up into reverse tabletop, and then with control, we're swinging back into that, I guess I could call it an elevated seated staff position. Repeating this several times and ensuring that when we're back into that L-sit or seated staff position, we're making sure that our shoulder blades are back and down and we're keeping everything as strong as possible. Just a couple more moves to go. Seated butterfly will follow, so connecting the soles of the feet and drawing the feet up towards the body as close as you can while letting the knees lower towards the ground as far as they'll go. Whenever I do seated butterfly, I have a tendency of stretching out my neck at the same time, so I simply just tilt my head so my ear aims for my shoulder, and with control, I let my chin move towards my chest and then towards the opposite side. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I hope you guys have a great day, and namaste. COVID-19, PSP is offering telefitness to Canadian Armed Forces members, which now has become accessible to all. Please check out the Get Active Questionnaire provided by CSEP, link on screen. By continuing with this telefitness class, you understand that there is a possibility of physical injury, and you agree that you do so voluntarily and at your own risk.